Hey guys, making another video. It's been, once again, I think another month. Maybe, actually, I think this time for sure over a month since I last made a video. I tried making a few videos, um, actually a little earlier than I did originally, but I ended up scrapping them just because when I was talking in them, it a lot of me listening back to my voice most of the time makes me kind of cringe, but the video that I tried making in particular did. Uh, Today we're on People's Playground. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do, but I just wanted a game that I could not really have to think too hard while I play it. Unfortunately for me, Cyberpunk has stopped working. I think it's a RAM issue. I think it overloads my memory, and I'm not able to run the game, which is weird because I was able to run it for like a pretty good amount of time, more or less perfectly fine. And then one day it just kind of like stopped working. I think it had something to do with the recent update that it got, which was the Liberty City update. Ooh, shit, that's fine. And I think that just caused it to stop working for me, which sucks, but because it's like one of my chill games that I just played to, talk, because I didn't really have to think too hard. The game's pretty easy. I mean, I wasn't really on the highest difficulty or anything, but it wasn't exactly like a difficult game to begin with, in all fairness. Um, I don't really know what to talk about in this video. I mean, I never really do when I make these. I kind of just start recording and talking and just see where I start going. How do I wake this guy up? None of these. Oh wait, I just saw an adrenaline. There we go. That'll probably wake him up, right? There we go. Right? Oh, he's dead. Oh, up, you bastard. There you go. But I'm supposed to be doing an essay right now. It is currently almost 2 a.m., 1:52 a.m. exactly, and I am up. I did do part of it, but I think I'm going to do the rest tomorrow. The reason I'm not doing more of it now is because I'm just burnt. There's no way I'm going to write any more um, of this essay, so I just thought, might as well try making a video. Uh, Recently, I've had the thought of arguments. I mean, part of it is because we are talking about like arguments and such in my English class, and I started thinking like, it talks about like rhetorical appeals and shit, and how to form an argument, how to convince people, or at least that's what I think it is. To be honest with you, I didn't really pay too much attention, but um, I was sort of thinking. So I have this like low key kind of addiction to arguing with people online, as pointless as that is. It is. I genuinely would say I wouldn't recommend anyone to ever argue with anyone online because it is so unbelievably pointless. And the reason I believe this is because there's something I like to call gotcha moments. Everybody wants to have the gotcha moment when they argue of, okay, we're having a conversation, you made a slip up, boom, I got you lose, your argument is invalid. And the problem with this is that there is no argument. It's just people trying to, uh, get you in that slip up, that moment you mess up, And the thing about that is, um, with the quote unquote gotcha moments is that no one's really being convinced of anything. One person just looks wrong. And the reason I say looks wrong instead of are wrong is because that is what it is. No one is inherently wrong. It's just they look wrong. And there are gotcha moments where I think could convince people. Uh, there are gotcha moments where I think actually work towards the sake of argument, but most of the time, I would say it is pointless. You know, um, I was arguing with some people in the comments on a video about um, trans persons and LGBTQ uh, people, and they were talking about how they think people who are trans tend to regret it more, or like a lot of people who go trans end up regretting transitioning. And you know, I'm one of those people who are like, okay, I hear you. Now, can you give me a source on that? Now, in all honesty, I did not think this guy was going to come back with a source, so I will give him kudos for doing that at the very least. But when he did send me a source, it was actually in support of my argument. I think he misread the title of it, believing that it uh, supported his argument, but it in fact did not. And when I told him this, and I even quoted and told him how many lines down the piece of evidence that was supporting my claim was, he liked my comment and then did not reply. And I don't know if I ever convinced him. He might have just gone immediately back to his old views or just completely disregarded it for whatever reason. But the thing that really irked me on it was the fact that he didn't admit that he was wrong. Means that people who are looking through that comment section, if they're even bothering to look through all the replies, because whenever I do this, it's just filled with people getting angry at me whenever I support LGBT stuff. So I really doubt they did look at it, but it it doesn't really, like, if someone who was genuinely trying to understand my side of the argument or their side of the argument looked down, they would never see in confirmation. I mean, they could see that at least I provided a um, accurate source for what I put in, like my side of the argument that I was right, but uh, for most people, it's going to be overlooked. And I've come to you the point in arguing with people on the internet, again, complete mistake. I genuinely believe no one should ever do it, but um, shit. But I just kind of given up because it's all filled with gotcha moments. And the comment kind of died down at this point, so less people interactions on the post that I commented this on. Uh, this girl came and she asked me to or she I don't even remember exactly what she said, but she was like trying to do a call out post is the best way I think I can put it. And I simply told her I didn't want to argue with her because I could already tell she was going to be one of those people who try to use gotcha moments. Because one of the things I hate most about arguing with anyone is gotcha moments. It is absolutely the worst person to argue with. And the last person I argued with at least tried not to use gotcha moments, right? Like he was trying to give me sources and stuff, or try to provide like a valid argument, even if he didn't, end up really concluding the argument. He at least wasn't trying to do gotcha moments. And this girl clearly was the type of person to do gotcha moments. So I simply told her, I don't want to argue with you. It's gonna be pointless. You're gonna try to give gotcha moments, and she, unironically, in her reply to that, tried to do a gotcha moment, and yeah, I was like, well, I was right. And I think that's the big problem with debating in general. Generally speaking, debating online is kind of pointless. Like I've said like a million times already in this video, debating debating with people in any kind of comment section is almost pointless. No one's really there to get their mind changed. They're there to be right. So, oh, he's not gonna. They're there to be right more than anything, which is unfortunate for a lot of reasons. But it is what it is. There's not much you can realistically do. But there are a lot of people that I wish I could have a genuine conversation with, but you really can't because of the gotcha moments. Like I have an aunt who's like an evangelical Christian, I think they call it, and she's a nice enough lady. I don't think she does anything inherently wrong. I think she's a fine person, but she's a little ignorant when it comes to news and how, the internet works in that way. There was a story a little while ago that came out that a school put in a litter box into a bathroom because they believed that, or sorry, they put a litter box in the bathroom because a student was a furry or something, and they wanted to, you know, identify like that and have it be reassured. But the story was so like unbelievably fake that I genuinely can't believe that anyone believed it. Much as I don't know if people actually did. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. I do know that people actually did, and it was very weird that my aunt believed it, and my mom was trying to tell her it's not real. This is a bait story essentially. It's very it's it's so absurd. It's definitely not real. But the problem is that I don't think she really wants to be wrong. I mean, no one wants to be wrong, but like she was so adamant on not being wrong, she just didn't want to give it up, which is insane to me because the story itself is crazy. I mean, even if you truly believe our day and age is getting crazy and crazier, you still have. I feel like to some extent you still have to admit that is absurd. Oh, how the fuck? And it's just harder and harder to argue with people nowadays, especially since, like I said, no one really wants to have an actual conversation when it comes to arguments. I'm trying to think of another scenario where I've tried arguing with people. I think another big thing of why people don't like to argue, or I should say, even be wrong in any time of day and time in like life and society. I'm sure this was even a thing way back when. Is that when a person is wrong and they admit so, or even don't admit so, we frown upon them for being wrong, as if they should know. And to some extent, I can get that. You know what I mean? Like I can be like, okay, I get it. Someone being wrong, they deserve to be called out for being wrong, especially if it's in something like that is really bad. That can genuinely harm a person. Then I think they should be called out for whatever it is they're being wrong for. But with things like that news story, for example, a person being wrong that they would surely feel humiliated for being wrong, right? Like it's like when you get a math problem wrong, no one wants to be the one to speak up and get the math problem wrong because it's frowned upon. Like you get something wrong and you feel shame, and you can't really say that people don't feel shame. I feel shame when I get something wrong, which happens pretty frequently. Um, and I think if we could break that stigmatism, and I'll be honest, I'm definitely guilty of this too, of you know, even if a small amount, shaming people for when they're wrong. Because the truth is that it feels good to be right. So shaming a person for being wrong just feels so natural. But I suppose that's just human nature. I mean, to eh, there's another thing that I've been really scared. Another big stigma I think is asking questions is almost frowned upon. I want to say, uh, in the sense that there's a subreddit called No Stupid Questions, and even that subreddit I feel like doesn't really embody the spirit of No Stupid Questions. Like I'm a mostly support of trans rights and LGBT communities, but I don't like commentating on things that I don't understand. And something I haven't really understood recently is where should be my stance on trans persons in sports. The problem with asking that question is there's so many people with different views. Ooh, shit. So many persons with different views on that it's really hard to ask that question without feeling like people are going to immediately take it as hostile, right? Like, what's wrong with having trans people in sports? And then people are going to be like, this, and this. Or there's going to be people who are like, there is nothing wrong with trans people in sports, you fucking bigot. And I think that's a really another really big issue when it comes to arguments and debates is that the middlemen, the people who just want more information on either side, who are not really on any side, are immediately shot down by both sides uh, when they ask a question like, "Oh, what's so bad about Biden?" What do you mean, what's so bad about Biden? There's everything to be bad about Biden, and it just devolves. Uh, Another big thing is being friends with people with opposing ideologies or views. I am friends with people who have opposing ideologies and views, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Let me be clear. But it always feels strange, because a lot of times on the internet, the people who are voicing their similar views are much worse than what they are, right? Like they're people who are like super adamant on these views and don't want to change their mind whatsoever. Maybe these people are like that too, but they're your friends, so you see them in a different light, Like you don't see them as just their views. You see them as more, you see them as your friend, your buddy, your pal, the person you grew up with or the the person you got to know well, rather than the person with these horrifying views. Oh, that just kills him. I was trying to give him jet arms. I feel like it could have worked. Alright, moving on. But it's just really shameful in that sense. Uh what else? I guess I can kind of segue that into like nah, I'll save that conversation for another time. I think I'll end the video here. It's a pretty solid video, but if you made it this far, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the videos, subscribe, like, whatever, all that typical bullshit. Once again, these videos are still unedited. I'm thinking about putting more effort into these videos, like adding more visuals besides just me playing whatever video game and commentating while I'm playing. Uh, if you would like to see that, by all means, leave it in the comments. Feedback on these videos have been good. People seem to like them, which is nice. Uh, I would like to do some more of like my original content, which is just like video games with my friends or whatever, rather than this more serious commentary content, I guess. Oh, ooh, I cranked it. Wait. Ah, I gotcha. I think I broke it. But yeah, I think that's all. So I'll see you in the next video. I'm going to mute my mic and just leave like a few extra minutes of me just playing the game. It's the same thing I do with Cyberpunk. If you want to sit there and watch that, you can. And maybe I'll add some extra commentary. But otherwise, that's it. See you.